Hello and welcome to the 2022 Action Network's Bracket Breakdown. I'm Anthony Dabbundo, joined by my close friend and pal, Charlie DiSturco. We're both very excited. We've had a chance to look over the brackets over the last 12 or so hours. We barely slept, but we're here to bring down our favorite picks for the Final Four and who is going to cut down the nets in New Orleans in April and win the national title. We're each going to give one favorite bet for the Final Four, both of the main favorites and of the long shots. And then we're going to give our national title pick. Charlie, why don't you start? Who is your favorite Final Four pick and why?
I think, and this is a trendy Final Four pick, I'm going with Iowa. They're plus 330 right now at DraftKings. The Hawkeyes team is probably the hottest team in the country right now. They are Big Ten champs. They have been playing out of their mind as of late. They went from looking like a team that was going to be an early upset and an early round exit. And now they're one of my favorite teams to make the Final Four. It also helps of their draw. They have a pretty favorable matchup. They have to beat the number 1 seed is Kansas. The number 2 seed is Auburn. I don't think Kansas is as good as everyone thinks. And I think Auburn, they've been trending down. They're under 500 on the road in the last 7 games. This Iowa team is legit. Keegan Murray is going to be a top 5 pick. They are top 20 out of the half court. They are top 25 as far as finishing at the rim. They can shoot the 3 well. They can work out of the post well. Keegan Murray just stretches the floor and offers so much for the compliments around them. At plus 330, I think it's a good shot. I think that either them or Auburn gets in. I think that both of them have kind of a cakewalk schedule to the Elite Eight, and then it's a matter of which of the two can win. And right now I'm going to back the hotter team and who I think is the better team at this point in time.
Yeah, my favorite Final Four pick, and I think it's in the same region. You mentioned it with Auburn. I was pretty high on Auburn coming into the year. I started to, sell high on them a little bit as you got toward February because they really haven't been great away from Auburn, and the national championship will not be played. None of the games will be played in Auburn. Per what I've seen so far. So they're going to have to figure out to get more consistent guard play out of Wendell Green, out of KD Johnson. They just haven't quite been there. But I also think Auburn's been coasting a bit, and Bruce Pearl teams tend to find a way to get it done in March. He is a great March coach. He has had a lot of success. Auburn teams have typically performed well above their seed line. So given their draw, plus 250 to make the Final Four, they're going to get an overrated USC or a Miami team that has no chance to match them on the inside with Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler. That's their path to the Sweet 16. Their 3 seed is a team in Wisconsin that I am not particularly fond of. Same matchup issues on the inside, and Auburn can definitely guard Johnny Davis pretty well. They have the guys, and then they get to the Elite Eight. And we've said this: Kansas is a little bit overvalued. Iowa could be there. It could be Providence. All those teams I think are very beatable. Auburn, I think, is the best team in this region. They have matchup advantages over all of their potential opponents through the Elite Eight. So despite everybody being done with Auburn, I'm not quite done yet. I like the Tigers to make the Final Four out of that region. Who's your long shot? Who's the team nobody's talking about that's about to make a run?
Yeah, I'll say this real quickly before I get into it. If you can find an Auburn to make the Elite Eight future out there, I don't know what the odds are, but they have the easiest cakewalk schedule is my first reaction to seeing that bracket to get there. But a team that I think, so this is a long shot. Obviously, I don't really expect it to hit, but if I'm going to be backing a team to make the Final Four that isn't one of the top contenders, I'm going with Alabama. I mean, this team, they're kind of a mess offensively at times, but when they put it all together, we've seen what they can do. They beat Gonzaga, they beat Houston, they beat Tennessee, they've beaten Baylor. They can beat any team in the country. And when it comes to March, it's just who can get hot and who can find their stroke from beyond the arc and who can put it all together at the right time. And Nate Oates' running gun squad has that potential. I mean, Alabama's a fast-paced offense. They are great in the interior. They're not a great three-point shooting team, but they also shoot threes on 48% of all field goals. So if there's a team that you're going to want to back that, has a chance in that 25-1, it's a big long shot. And the Crimson Tide, I don't expect them to really make a run by any means, but they drew Gonzaga's bracket. They can beat Gonzaga. They could beat any team in the country at any given point. They're susceptible to big runs. They're susceptible to an upset. So don't be surprised if they lose in the first round to the winner of Notre Dame or Rutgers. but also don't be surprised if they put together a little run into the Elite Eight, Final Four, and whatnot. And you can always hedge out.
Yeah, the one team I'm looking to, and it's UConn. And nobody's talking about UConn. They had a tight loss in the Big East tournament semifinals to Villanova. It was a 3-point game. It was pretty close throughout. The thing that scares me with teams who are playing UConn, if you can score from the perimeter and you have an elite perimeter offense, you can take advantage of some holes in this defense, but you cannot get anything at the rim, and you will not win the rebounding battle against the Huskies. So let's look at the potential path. 15-1 to make the Final Four. New Mexico State cannot shoot the ball. They're not physical or big enough to compete with New Mexico State on the glass. They're a mid-major I like, but they're not a mid-major I like against UConn. I think UConn should have no problems getting to the second round. Their most likely opponent is Arkansas. Arkansas, physical team, but I also like the matchup for UConn because they can match up with JD Notae on the inside. Two best players for Arkansas, JD Notae, Jalen Williams. Adama Sanogo, I would take him any day. And they have a ton of athletic guys like Andre Jackson that they can throw at JD and make life difficult for the Hogs offense. I think that's a good matchup for UConn. Then they're going to get probably Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. Again, probably lose there. But there's reasons to believe that if you can take away the interior and force these Gonzaga guards who have been a bit inconsistent lately, and you can force them to go deeper into the bench, that this Zags team is vulnerable there. And UConn can compete on the glass. They can guard Timmy. I think Sanogo and Whaley can really cause Timmy and Holmgren some problems on the inside and not make it a layup line for the Zags. I think of any team in that region, besides Duke, nobody matches up better with the Zags than UConn. So UConn is a dangerous team. They're a top 20 KenPom. They're a top 15 shot quality team. This Huskies squad has been undervalued all year. And I know they lost to Villanova, but Villanova, again, a perimeter offense who shoots a lot of threes and is very physical. That's not going to be a team anywhere near in this region for UConn. So I think UConn's my dark horse to make the Final Four. I think they have a decent shot to do it. They probably lose to Zags, but that's where I'm looking. Let's transition now. We're going to go who cuts down the nets in April in New Orleans, who has the best value, who's your title pick and why?
I think I have to go with the Kentucky Wildcats. This is just not the same Coach Cal team of years past where it was just all blue chip prospects that 5 stars and all that. This is a really talented stacked roster. Kellen Grady, he's down, not shooting the 3 as well in the last couple of games, but when he gets going, he gets going. And Severe Wheeler, Ty Washington make up an elite backcourt for the Wildcats. Oscar Tshiebwe, probably the player of the year. This Kentucky team is just one of the best squads that I've seen. If you look at their draw, they have an overrated Purdue team that is not great defensively. Baylor has been so hit or miss all season and battling injuries and all that. I think they have a pretty easy path to the Final Four. And then from there, it's just 2 more games. And I think that I trust the more veteran side of Cal and this team of transfers to really get it done here. And yeah, I think Kentucky cuts down the nets in April.
I could not agree more. I think it's the Cats' year. I think they have the easiest draw of all of the title favorites to get to the title game, or at least to the Final Four. Potentially getting the Dons or Murray State in the second round. 2 teams I like, but not 2 teams I'm expecting to be able to really compete on the inside with Oscar Tshiebwe. Sweet 16, there could be a difficult matchup if Purdue gets really hot from 3, but Purdue is also not stopping them. So I think Purdue would be a little bit outclassed there. Same is true if it were to be Texas. But I think generally they got the weakest 1 seed. They got a pretty weak 3 seed in Purdue. And just, I think they have a very easy path to the Final Four. And at that point, it's 2 games in April. And with Tshiebwe being the best player in the country, Grady's ability to get hot from 3, and Ty is a lottery pick, you're looking at a pretty loaded roster. And that's why I have the Cats to cut down the nets in April. We're both in agreement. So that probably means the Cats are cooked, but hopefully the Cats do cut down the nets for us and we can cash some tickets on Kentucky this year. Finally getting the good mix of freshmen and veterans, like you said, getting some transfers, getting some old guys, Calipari switching it up as the sport continues to change. This has been our NCAA tournament bracket breakdown with the Action Network. Please like and subscribe and go watch all of our content this week. We're going to have everything you could possibly imagine up on YouTube, covering the tournament before the big action gets kicked off on Thursday. For Charlie DiSturco, I'm Anthony Dabbundo. Thanks for watching.